Rocky, you happy in there? I'm happy out here. Ted, you happy?
Man, I'm pumped.
All right. All the lights are on. All the cameras are rolling. We're recording on the audio. We've done slate. There's only one thing left to do. Hello and welcome to another episode of Streaming Without a Paddle. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Ted.
This week, Ted and I, we took on the Amazon Prime TV or Prime Video, whatever they call themselves, Amazon. Comedy, thriller, crime, drama. I don't know what to say other than
I think comedy. Comedy, action comedy.
Deep Cover, 1 hour, 49 minutes in length, better known as a normal length movie. And it stars Bryce Dallas Howard, Orlando Bloom, Sean Bean, Nick Mohammed, Sonia Mizuno, and that's pretty much Ian McShane or Winston from the
Patty Considine.
Oh yeah, Patty Considine, can't forget him.
He makes a living just playing British gangsters.
Well, you know, if it works, it works. And Kings, he's in House of Dragons. Yeah. Ian McShane, you'll know him from John Wick. He's Winston, head of the Continental Hotel in New York. I guess that's where he's supposed to be. Sean Bean, you'll know him from Game of Thrones, more than likely, since that's the most popular thing. He's Ned Stark's. Patty Considine, we just watched him in Mobland.
Great show.
And but you'll know him also from House of Dragons if you don't know that. Orlando Bloom, I mean, he's been in tons of stuff for a long time. He's
Legolas.
He's Katy Perry's significant other. And then Bryce Dallas Howard is the daughter of Ron Howard, and it is Ted's movie wife.
That's right.
From The Help.
Hey, Bryce.
There you go. You want to take away a synopsis on this, Ted?
Yeah, I mean, it's about a girl that's teaching an improv class and a very intense actor that's, he's very intense actor, Orlando Bloom. And then one day, dude from Ted Lasso.
Yeah, Nick Mohammed. Yeah.
He walks by and he's an awkward IT guy and he decides to start taking an improv class. So someone sees them doing the improv, a cop, and he enlists them to go undercover to buy cigarettes. And I think she only asked, did she ask the whole class? I can't remember. No, she just asked them because the other two people in her class got an agent.
Right.
And she's like a kind of failed actor, but acting teacher.
Well, she's an American living in England, which is a detriment apparently.
Not anymore.
Well, yeah.
They shoot everything over there. They're probably begging for an American accent that doesn't sound, vaguely Brooklyn.
Sean Bean plays the cop, and this is, and I'm just gonna go in here, and this movie was penned by Ben Ashton, Colin Trevorrow, Alexander Owen, and Derek Conley. My understanding is that Colin Trevorrow and Derek Conley came up with the concept and wrote the story, and then Ben Ashton and Alexander Owen, who are a script writing team, they came in and they did the script on this. Now, Colin Trevorrow and Derek Conley, they're no strangers to the industry. You won't know them by name, but I mean, they're big time. Jurassic Park, a couple of those in that series that they've done of that. Ben Ashton and Alexander Owen, primarily a bunch of English stuff. And Derek Conley, also a big time American producer, along with Colin. And this feature was directed by Tom Kingsley. And I want to bring that up because I think that it is really important to this particular project. Tom Kingsley, the director, he's done stuff, nothing huge.
Nominated for a BAFTA.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not a common name, and I think after this movie, his stock's going to go up. I think he's going to be sought after, and his offers are going to roll in because this movie was wonderfully directed.
It was, but this is interesting. It's always like, I don't think people understand how hard it is to make a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, just normal people don't. Like, just example, the mixtape thing, people were like, oh, like this offhanded musician the other day when I was having him sign a contract was like, yeah, in 3 years from now, we'll get you another song for your next one. And I'm like, that's about how long it takes.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're a big budget, I bet this took them 2 years.
Unless your name is Guy Ritchie, you don't sit here and crank these things out.
No, this dude had 9 years between directing this movie.
Yeah. You know, and I want to bring it up too, the reason I brought up the names of the writers of this, this script was just so wonderfully written. It was comedic. It had proportionately the right amount of adventure and thriller in it, and but the dialogue was just spot on.
It was great. It was great. And that part where Bryce Dallas Howard, they come up to her to ask her, like, hey, we have these agents coming. What do we need to say to them? And she just does what every actor and actress that's like, tell them if they have any spot for someone in their late 30s, redhead, America. I was like,
I want to bring all that up on the behind the scenes stuff because it was wonderfully directed. And I want to say kudos off to whoever the DP was on this. I didn't get into that, but it was wonderfully lit, and the color scheme on it was just so apropos, not even funny. So, touched all those bases. Now, we jump in here to the acting on this thing.
Wasn't a bad note. Not a bad note.
All right. If you haven't seen Bryce Dallas Howard in Argyle, you have to.
Yeah.
Because in my eye, this is kind of her follow-up to Argyle. I'm not familiar with anything she's done between this and Argyle, which was about 2 years ago. And again, that's not a long period for an actor. And, to, I hate to say be off, but they're not really off because they're working on their next, potentially working on their next project. So, yeah. So she's amazing.
She's great.
I mean, I loved her in Argyle. She was really, really good in that.
Yeah.
And then she turns around, and then this drops, and she's the lead. The leads in this are Bryce Dallas Howard. I would put in the number 1 spot, Orlando Bloom in the number 2 spot, and Nick Mohammed.
Yeah, they're the three. So Argyle was last year.
Okay, all right.
And in between, she did Pets. And before that, she did Jurassic World Dominion. That's what we have to remember. She had like back-to-back Jurassic World. Those movies take like 18 months to film.
And I'm not a follower or a fan of the Jurassic World, but again, and that goes back to the fact of the writers of this. They were associated with Jurassic World. And so as producers and writers, and that would have been Colin Trevorrow and Derek Conley. But she is. I mean, I have to say she was absolutely delightful. And I was touching on, we start off with her in this film, and then Orlando Bloom's character, he's introduced, and then Nick Mohammed, he's introduced, but the three of them become a team.
Yeah.
So at that footing, they pretty much get equal time for the rest of the movie. But and Orlando Bloom. I haven't seen. I'm going to put Orlando Bloom's performance into perspective because I thought it was just, and I don't want to overshadow anybody, but I am going to cast a little shadow. Because everybody did great. Everybody really did a good job. But I haven't seen acting like Orlando Bloom put forth since Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
I didn't know that he could be that good.
That was ridiculous. That was
every time he would go into that the
zone.
Yeah, not Cockney, but whatever that London. And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, stop. It was also good. It was like really good, him playing that character. It was funny.
Oh, yeah, I can totally see the director on this, Tom Kingsley, one, referencing Tropic Thunder and how Robert Downey Jr. played his character in that movie. But I'm sure there were times when he needed a little motivation, and he was like, channel Daniel Day-Lewis. And, get into, you disappear. Matter of fact, there's a scene, and it's not a spoiler scene, where Bryce Dallas Howard's character, she's like, are you okay? She's trying to get him to snap out of it because he's so deep into character. And that's his motivation. He wants to be a serious actor.
Yeah.
He's known nationally in England for his role in a TV commercial for Knight's Pizza, I think it is. And so it, but he can't break the stereotype of being, or the stereocast of being, the Knight Pizza guy because he's so convincing, right? And that happens to actors. They're so convincing doing a commercial that they just can't get anything else because I'm not hiring the Knight's Pizza guy to be my lead.
No.
And so he's been pigeonholed into this role. So, and that's the reason he goes into these improv classes, because he's trying to dig deeper and find out who he is. But he's just absolutely wonderful in this movie.
Yeah, he's great.
I mean,
I don't think I can't name a bad. This is just a fun, good movie.
Yeah,
straight up.
Like I said, I'm going to relate Orlando Bloom's character as being a British actor or role player to Robert Downey Jr.'s character in Tropic Thunder, which if you've seen Tropic Thunder, you just know he's method acting. He's so deep into the character, and it's hard for him to come out, which makes it funny within itself.
Yeah.
Because they're not trying to camouflage the fact that he is so deep into that character. But the movie itself, I'm going to relate this. So if you try to get an idea of what this is, and I'm not going to say it's a better version. This is in line with Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. It was that movie was they're kind of on it's a thriller crime kind of suspense movie, and that's it. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, while it was funny at times, that was a sexy movie. I mean, that was
this isn't sexy.
This isn't sexy. But what that movie, Mr. and Mr. Smith, lacks in comedy, which it didn't lack a lot. I mean, it was funny at times, the quick barbs between Pitt and Jolie's characters. This one surely makes up for it in the comedy sense. And it's not Three Stooges comedy, but it's just comedy. But I'm putting them together.
What did Nathan, what was his name? Esquire? The Esquire?
The Squire.
The Squire.
The Squire. The Squire. So I'm putting those two movies in the same realm. So if you haven't seen this movie, Deep Cover, again on Prime TV, if you got a membership to Amazon, you've got Prime TV. I'm putting those two movies so you can. Okay, I liked Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
You can like this movie.
Yeah, this movie's good. It's fun.
It is. It's very, very funny, and not one of those rib tickler, laugh out loud kind of movies. You do laugh at times out loud because things are funny, but there's an overlaying sense of humor throughout the whole thing. So, because you're talking about three people that get. They get involved in a criminal organization.
Yeah,
that have no experience of being in a criminal organization,
but they do it. They're just, hey, yes, and
just wigging
yes,
it.
And
it makes for good show.
I also think like Inside Baseball, sort of like this is a movie that I think a lot of like comedians, actors, improvers will think is funny. Because it's the yes and stuff, and all the different things. It's pretty fun. I thought it was pretty funny. I was laughing multiple times at the jokes like that.
Oh yeah, everything was, and again that goes back to the writing.
The writing's great.
This was so spot on, and I often talk about movies being grounded or the lack thereof in reality. This is fairly grounded in reality. There's not a lot that's too far-fetched in here.
No.
I mean, right down to how they're, recruited to go deep cover.
Well, I also think it looks like a high-budget action movie. And that's a lot of times they miss that, and it doesn't look like an action movie. They play the comedy too much. And this is like they weren't playing the comedy, but it was funny.
My understanding is that this was an independent movie, self-financed. I mean, it's an independent movie. They didn't have a studio backing them on this. They went out, they shot it, they premiered it at Cannes, and
really,
yeah. And it was then picked up by Amazon there. So Amazon just basically bought the rights to it. So that's my understanding in my research. So that's if true, that's amazing because one, there was money spent on it. There's no question.
Oh yeah,
but they got, I'm sure, because, when you get into independent features like this, when you have private backers, that you really watch your dollars and cents. I mean, the UPM on this job, on this movie was, that was a tough gig for them because they really had to say no, I'm sure.
Oh, a lot.
To get this done within the budget. And and then kudos to all these actors. I mean, I have no idea what they got made, but got paid. But when you go into these independent projects like this, and it's an independent project, you're a little bit more flexible on your rate, and you might get a little action on the back end. But since this wasn't a theatrical release, there is no back end for that matter, because so kudos to them too, because they read something, they saw something, and it worked in their head, and they did it, and lo and behold, they were right.
Looking at Orlando Bloom's filmography makes me feel old, because I saw multiple of these in the movie theater.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why I say, Orlando Bloom, goodness gracious, he's been in...
They said he graduated in 99 from drama school and booked Black Hawk Down in 2001 into Lord of the Rings.
Well, he's a good-looking guy.
He is.
I'm not going to argue there. I mean...
He's a good-looking guy.
And we have to, there's, Anyway, I did, Ted. All right, let's get to some numbers on this.
Okay.
I mean, I'm. You want to go? You want me to?
You go.
All right. I'm giving this an 8.4, and I just want everybody out there to know I would have given Mr. and Mrs. Smith an 8.4 too, because they just seemed so connected to me in a style. So an 8.4, and that's a good number.
8.0. I give it an 8.0.
You're giving it an 8.0. Okay. So that's a big number. I mean, we've had some real stinkers lately. I mean, we just came off of summer of '69, Bad Thoughts, and I'm trying to remember
I didn't mind summer of '69.
I know you didn't. I thought that was
or Fear Street. You just hated Fear Street, and it was like,
well, I didn't hate it. No, I gave it a good horror number. I think in a general number, it was like in the 60s.
I know, but it's like that. That is the movie they're making, though. The movie we watched is the movie they're making. It's not like trying to be a lofty, good, smart horror movie. It's trying to comment on 80s slasher movies.
Yeah, well, this is still in the same ballpark to me as that movie we just did with oh my goodness. His name eludes me, from The Office. Married to Stanley Tucci's sister-in-law, and Natalie Portman was in it. Natalie Portman and The Quiet Place. John
Krasinski's
John
married
Krasinski.
to Emma, not Emma.
Emily Blunt, who's he's married to. But we just watched that movie, and it was a take of, God, I'm just having a brain fart here. The Treasure with Nicolas Cage, right?
National Treasure,
yeah. So I'm going to look that up real quick because I don't want to leave my audience hanging here.
Yeah, no way.
Because, The Fountain of Youth. I can't believe I didn't. The Fountain of Youth. So if it helps out for Attic, this movie, is in the same vein, or Edit. This movie is in the same vein as The Fountain of Youth, which was another Prime. No, it was an Apple TV movie. I'm sorry. That was Apple.
Which one was The Fountain of Youth?
Where they went to look for The Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
John Krasinski.
Oh, the John Krasinski.
Portman.
That was fun, too.
That was a good movie. It was like 2 weeks ago, but what the world doesn't know, I bugged out for a week and went down to the decompression zone, as I refer to it. So hence the reason last week there was no episode. Yeah,
behind the candelabra, sometimes we just have to take a dip.
Oh, I needed that. I needed that badly.
Oh, I'm working every day until Labor Day.
Well,
Is it Labor Day?
You were up in New York, though. You took kind of a sabbatical.
I took a 4-day to go to my friend's. Was being honored from the singing thing, like a singing group honored him, and so we went up there and they had a big thing, and it was really cool and fun. And then I remembered, this is New York. It's great. I'm glad I don't live here anymore.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I don't live where I went, but it was nice to visit, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think my next visit is Hilton Head. That's kind of a place that we go.
There you go. Well, here's the funny thing about where I just came from. I am now under the complete belief that Tennessee, and I say this with as much love and as affection as I possibly can, being a native myself, and I can say it being a native, has the dumbest drivers in the world. I say that because every traffic incident or jam up, whatever you want to call it, where I was, which was 500 miles from Tennessee, was caused by a car from Tennessee, had Tennessee license plates
Williamson
on it.
County?
They were all over, but because it is a popular destination where I went for Tennesseans. So there was a fair share of those brilliant blue license plates down there that said stupid on them. I mean, seriously, we'd be sitting in traffic and okay. And then we'd finally eke by whatever it was that was causing it. And lo and behold, and it happened more than one time. Tennessee license plate. I was just like, wow. Please don't leave the state because you're horrible PR for us.
Well, if you're presently in Middle Tennessee, most of the time they just had to get a license plate because they're not from here because they just moved here.
Well, I recently went to the doctor's and we got in there and I showed up at the office just right at time and didn't have to wait in the lobby, but a hot minute, as the kids would say, and I was called back there and nurse came in and she's like, all right, let's take your temperature and your blood pressure here. And it's like, can we hold off on the blood pressure thing? I mean, I did just drive here. And you know how these drivers are out there. And I don't take too kindly. And she totally understood. And she's like, all right, take 10 minutes. Calm down. I mean, seriously. So it's not me. They understood. I was like, because my blood pressure was, I was like, I don't want to give you a false positive here.
Yeah, I know. Anytime that you get your blood pressure, they say that like everybody's nervous, like as you get older, and it jacks it up.
Yeah, well,
you got to sit there. You got to take a breath.
That applies to me. Anytime I see one of those cups come out, I'm like, oh crap! Here we go. We're going to fail this test.
I know.
I don't know why.
I couldn't hate the doctor more. Dentist is worse than doctor.
Oh, much. And my dad was one.
Yeah, I know.
So, anyway. All right, I'm going to watch on this. Again, the name of the movie is Deep Cover. It's on Prime Video. This is, besides The Fountain of Youth, one of the best things I've seen this year, for sure.
For sure, but it's a low bar. Let's be real. This year in film is a low bar.
I mean, there's some real crap out there.
I mean, we have seen, I would say, of how many have we watched this year? Probably, one a week. So
23. 23, I think. 23 episodes this year.
I would say out of 23, those 23 movies, at least 10 of them have been to where we're both like, this is horrific.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this one and Fountain of Youth, I'm going to say are the best, are in the top 5.
Yeah, I'd have to revisit what we watched, but yes, you're correct.
I mean, just off the top of my thinking cap here. So I'm a watch. I mean, seriously, if you've got Amazon, and I don't know who doesn't have Amazon now.
Me either.
Go watch this. This is cute. There's nothing offensive about it. It's PG. I mean, it would be PG, even though it's an R rating. There's nothing gratuitous about this movie. The criminal activity in it is pretty tame compared to what you see out there. There's no nudity. There's no sex scenes, and nobody shits in their pants like in the first 2 minutes of Bad Thoughts, right?
That's true.
And then drops those pants so the whole world can see it.
I mean, just dumbest thing I've ever seen.
That was stupid. All right, everybody. Thank you. Spread the word. Every week, I love seeing stats. We're growing. Appreciate it. Tell your friends. And here's the great thing too. I mean, we need to help build our YouTube channel up. So what you do is, even if you've listened to the show as a podcast, just log in to YouTube, go to StreamingWithoutAPaddle, and just click on the video. Right? You don't have to watch it. Just let it play so it gets counted.
So it gets a little count. Nobody's making anything. I don't like to watch myself. I don't watch these, but I definitely like them, and I definitely follow.
Well, there you go. I watch them.
I can't watch myself. I don't like to watch myself.
I watch them because I'm involved in the edit process.
I know. You've got to watch them.
All right. On that note, again, thank you for being a friend of the show. Streaming Without a Paddle. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Ted.